Breaking news, President Trump just signed 4 executive orders. In today's special report video, I will cover the payroll tax holiday. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, and volunteer paramedic. Since negotiations for another stimulus bill kind of appear to be going nowhere, President Trump has issued a series of executive orders to help financially distressed Americans. One of the executive orders defers or delays the collection of payroll taxes from September 1st until the end of the year for workers making less than $4,000 on any bi-weekly paycheck, which comes out to about $104,000 per year. Now, I know there are plenty of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle who are completely against a payroll tax cut. They claim that it is not enough money, it takes too long to get into circulation, and doesn't really benefit the people who need it the most. But you know what? I disagree. And I've said this multiple times in previous videos. Sadly, people think of this as a payroll tax cut versus stimulus issue, whereas I view it as why not do both? A direct payment stimulus check gives everybody money right now. That's obvious, and I have no argument with that statement. However, the critical point that is being overlooked by those that are against payroll tax cut is that it gives continuous stimulus money to people every 2 weeks in their paycheck. This order allows workers to postpone their payroll tax payments until the end of the year, but it doesn't exactly absolve them of the bills outright, though the president said he would seek to waive what people owe if he prevails on Election Day. He said, "If I am victorious on November 3rd, I plan to forgive these taxes and make permanent cuts to payroll tax," Trump said in a news conference in Bedminster, New Jersey. "I am going to make them all permanent." So, in other words, I'll extend beyond the end of the year and terminate the tax, is what Trump later added. Now, putting politics aside for the moment, simple facts are the president doesn't have the ability to waive or absolve people of tax liabilities unilaterally. However, the U.S. tax code does allow the Treasury Secretary to, in a time of national emergency, delay the collection and enforcement of tax payments. It is under this power that the president is relying upon for his current executive order. Now, every day, 7.65% of an employee's wages are subtracted from their paycheck to fund the Social Security and Medicaid programs. Then, as an employer, you pay an equal amount as well. For 2020, the Social Security tax is only levied on the first $137,700 of earnings. However, an additional 0.9% Medicare tax is collected on wages over $200,000 for the current year. Under the president's executive order, these payroll taxes would not be taken out of paychecks for workers that have bi-weekly salaries of $4,000 or less. So, for example, someone making $15 per hour and working 40 hours a week will get about $46 per week, or slightly over $180 per month, from the months of September through to December. So that comes out to about $830. Since the executive order doesn't apply to biweekly wages above $4,000, the $137,000 base wage limit for Social Security really doesn't come into play here. Okay, now that we've kind of got the basics out of the way for the executive order, how does this affect U.S. workers and employers? And more importantly, how does this affect you? Well, this is where a lot of guesswork comes in, and sorry to say, there are more questions than there are answers at the moment. If you are self-employed and you file your own quarterly 940 returns, then in theory, you should be able to deduct both your self-employment and worker 7.65%, which of course is a combined 15.3%, and you can delay that payment until the end of the year. That's probably the most straightforward answer for you. Now, if you're an employer with employees, this is where it becomes a little bit more complicated. Depending on how you handle payroll, for example, do you use a third-party service or do you calculate the withholdings manually? Since I doubt anyone on here actually calculates it manually. If you do, well, then I guess in that case, you could just add back the 7.65% to your employee's paycheck. But most of you, myself included, use a service to handle payroll. In my case, I use QuickBooks Online's full-service payroll. They handle all the calculations and they also make the state and federal payments for me. Business owners will be basically at the mercy of these third-party services updating their system in time to take advantage of this. And this is where I think that we will have a lot of problems. Back earlier, the beginning of this year, when there was the first payroll tax deferment for small businesses, it took QuickBooks about a month and a half to update their systems to support the employee retention credits. By then, at least in my case, my business was no longer eligible because we'd already accepted PPP funds. Now, I know the laws have changed since then, but at the time, I couldn't use that credit because QuickBooks did not update in time. Now, I've reached out to QuickBooks for some clarification, but since it's a Sunday morning at, well, just over 4 a.m., I really don't think I'm going to hear anything back from them before this video goes live. Now, if you are an employee, well, this is also where a bit of mystery comes in, as many employers may be reluctant to give the delayed payment back to the employees in their paychecks for a couple reasons. One, employers are basically waiting on their third-party service to provide some sort of guidance. Two, because this is only a deferment and the employer is legally on the hook for these funds at the end of the year, what if the employee is fired or quits before the end of the year? Will the employer have enough funds in the employee's final paycheck to pay back the employer the 3 or 4 months of payroll taxes? There are so many other issues that I have concerns with. Come January 1st, will employers and employees be required to pay back all the backdated payroll taxes at once? Probably not, but we don't know at the moment. So how long will they have to make up those funds? This would be a massive shock to the economy if the employee's first paycheck of January completely disappears to payroll taxes. And like I said, I don't think that'll happen, but we just don't know at the moment. You know, it's also possible that they will just take it out of someone's personal tax returns. Now, personally, I love the concept of a payroll tax holiday, or even better, payroll tax cut, but I fear the unintended consequences and how they may appear. I hope for more clarification will come from Treasury Secretary Mnuchin on Monday. When it does, I will release a more detailed video. Also, don't forget to stay tuned this week to my channel. I have a 2-part video series coming out Monday and Thursday that covers all the corruption at the SBA and how I feel multiple federal laws are being broken and how this may just give you the opportunity for a class action lawsuit against the SBA. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure you click like and subscribe, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, all that stuff. But doing it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next video coming Monday.